Morning. Today is July 4th, 2023, the 247th anniversary of the American Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the American Declaration of Independence. I'm going to read a letter that was written almost 33 years ago from the United States Embassy in Monrovia, when I saw firsthand a Liberian woman being dragged from the window and her child being assaulted and dragged from the window of the consulate in Monrovia because they were black and because they were Liberians. They were denied visa to come to the United States. But Indians and Lebanese and other foreigners were allowed, even if they didn't have relatives in the United States. That act was a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. But according to Mr. Melhouse, the counselor, it was an order, classified order from the State Department to carry out discrimination against Liberians. And he said I could file a complaint. And I filed this complaint because I was also denied a visa, even though I lived and worked in the United States Embassy. Even though I was brought in, when there was no airplane landing at Roberts Field, I was brought in with the United States Navy helicopter. My nationality made it impossible for me to get a visa to come to the United States in violation of the United States Constitution. So I wrote a letter of complaint, and I'm going to just read a little bit of it. President George Bush, White House, Washington, D.C., November 28, 1990. His Honor, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices, the U.S. Supreme Court, Washington, D.C. The Honorable Members, U.S. Senate, Washington, D.C. The Honorable Members, U.S. House of Representatives, Washington, D.C. Subject: 1. Citizenship rights of Liberians of American descent. 2. Request for audience. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, greetings. I salute you in the name of the Almighty God and in the name of the greatest democracy on earth, the USA. There are many distinctions that has made the USA the torchbearer of peace, liberty, and equal opportunities on this earth. Among other things, the Constitution of the USA is the cornerstone of its greatness. When we come to grips with the greatness of the ideals and principles contained in that noble document, it becomes possible to transcend eccentric cares and act in the interest of humanity. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, it takes free individuals to make up a free citizenry. It takes a free citizenry to produce a free government, and it takes a free government to guarantee freedom and execute justice. On the other hand, the reign of terror and injustice is a product of an unjust and cowardly citizenry, living a life of resistance to freedom. They become obstacles to justice and a stumbling block to righteousness. Righteousness exalts a nation. I believe from the depth of my heart that every free man longs to free every man. In this light, I call on you, honorable ladies and gentlemen, to team up with us in making right that which is wrong. Help bring justice to those who have long been trodden down throughout the ages by injustice, and make good the promise of the USA Constitution that all men are created equal. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, Liberians of American descent were citizens of the United States who sought refuge because their constitutional rights were violated by the government of the United States. Now at the dawn of a new day, and I will stop right there and read the second piece from the second. I'm reading the second piece, summary, citizenship rights for Liberians of American descent. request for an audience. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, greetings. I salute you in the name of the Almighty God and in the name of the greatest democracy on earth, the USA. There are many distinctions. I think I already read that one. I think I have this one to read. So give me 1 second. Summary of letter. Citizenship rights for Liberians of American descent. Request for an audience. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, the only just way to address injustices is through dialogue and negotiations. Dialogue and negotiations are to be encouraged at all times. Our grievances are more than 168 years old. This is writing back on the 28th of November, 1990. Our grievances are more than 168 years old. Our forefathers complained and they were not listened to. In the words of our forefathers, quote, "We utter our complaints, but they were unattended to, or only met by alleging the peculiar institutions of the country. All hopes of a favorable change in our country was thus wholly extinguished in our bosoms, and we were forced to look abroad for some asylum from the deep degradation." The Liberian Declaration of Independence. We believe today that the hopes of a favorable change, which were wholly extinguished in the bosoms of our fathers, can be reignited again. We believe that we can return from the asylum in Africa back home. We turn to you because we know you stand for justice and freedom. We believe just men are catalysts for justice, and every free man longs to free every man. Children of American parents are by law American citizens. Liberians of American descent were citizens of the USA who were forced to seek refuge because of injustice and the violation of their constitutional rights. Yes, it happened a long time ago. However, time is not an enemy of justice, truth, and freedom. Time is the enemy of evil, injustice, and falsehood. In time, the foundation of lies, falsehood, and injustice crumbles. In time, good inevitably triumphs over evil, and truth overrides lies. Freedom-loving men and women must challenge the age-old foundation of injustice to allow justice to flow down like a river, according to Martin Luther King Jr. From the day these American refugees left the United States, America became incomplete. Some captains of the ship of state were delighted that the unnecessary part had been removed and the voyage can proceed normally. They fail to realize that a whole is equal to the sum of its parts. These citizens of America left and were forgotten. That did not solve the problem because justice lay bleeding in the streets of our cities. Dr. King, the old account remained unsettled. A member of America was missing and is today perishing. America, the great door to democracy, is missing the keys. The great torchbearer is treading in darkness without a flame. The freedom train is moving forward without a rudder. The great ship of justice and equal opportunity remains unguarded without the helm. Liberians of American descent are the keys, the flame, the rudder, and the helm. We need them. United we stand, divided we fall. I'm going to close this right now. These letters written many years ago went to the honorable members of they went to President George Bush in the White House. President George Bush is dead. He's no longer alive. But he did not respond to his obligation to uphold the Constitution. It went to members of it went to the Chief Justice, Associate Justices of the United States Supreme Court. They did not respond to this letter, and most of them are dead today. It went to the members of the Honorable Senate in the United States Congress. A lot of those people are dead today. They failed to uphold the Constitution of the United States. It also went to the honorable members of the House of Representatives in the Congress. A lot of those people who received this letter are dead. And so what are we going to do today? Is the 4th of July, as we celebrate the 247th anniversary of the American Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. We demand an end to the codified racism that was a violation of the United States Congress, a violation of the United States Constitution, a violation of the United States Declaration of Independence. Those laws are no longer on the books, but the damage and the ravaging of the lives of United States citizens continues. In Pond Ridge Indian Reservation, it has become the poorest district in the United States, not by accident, but because of racism. West Point in Liberia, Monrovia, has become a place unfit for human habitation where descendants of Americans live and die. These things cannot continue and will not continue. We must challenge injustice. We must challenge racism. We must challenge cowardice, because those people in authority who take a salary and do not uphold the Constitution of the United States don't deserve the salaries and don't deserve to be in Congress, don't deserve to be on the bench in the Supreme Court, don't deserve to be in the White House. And this has continued. The president was called when he said it's time to heal, when he was elected. He said it's time to heal and unite the United States. And we sent him a letter that you begin healing and uniting the United States at home, at the Pond Ridge Indian Reservation, at West Point, and gave him an invitation to West Point, Monrovia. President Biden did not honor that invitation. He did not honor the invitation to go to West Point and spend a night in West Point, created by the United States of America. He did not honor the invitation to visit Pond Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. Instead, he has launched a war to fight Russian colonization when American colonization remains intact against the Constitution of the United States of America. It cannot continue. It will not continue. And we begin today on this Independence Day by sending a copy of this 33-year-old letter to Ambassador McCarthy. He said the corruption in Liberia is over 200 years old, meaning the corruption in Liberia started at the United States Congress with corrupt James Monroe, who was also a slave holder. It's a disgrace that in 2023, an African nation continues to honor brutal, corrupt slave masters who were politicians in the United States that created the corrupt system. In 2023, it's a disgrace. Over 3,000 aspirants have registered to run for election in a corrupt system that they know was designed to empower and enrich politicians. A good tree cannot bear corrupt fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bear good fruit. A tree is known by its fruit. And so the Bible said, Matthew chapter 12, verse 33, make the tree good, and its fruits will be good. Make the tree corrupt, and its fruits will be corrupt. We have on our hands a corrupt seed that was sown many years ago by corrupt slave masters. We should not and must not continue to follow this corruption. The best way to do it is to sow a new seed. We need rebirth, not recycling of politicians. Therefore, we're calling for a sovereign national conference where we'll form a new constitution for a new authentic African nation with African names, African values, which still has equal opportunity for all Liberians. Today, the top officials of government in Liberia, in the ruling party, have access to United States education, employment, and business opportunity because they are American citizens or they have green cards. The top opposition politicians in Liberia have access to the United States. All diaspora Liberians have access to both Liberia and the United States. People from 40 countries enjoy visa waiver, including Japan, Korea, and Germany, former enemies of the United States. People from 5 territories occupied by the United States enjoy American privileges. People from 516 sovereign nations, Native American nations, have equal access. All persons born in Liberia, according to Article 1 of the 1824 Constitution, which is still enforced. All persons born in Liberia are entitled to all privileges enjoyed by citizens of the United States of America. That is why we have declared July 25 Economic Freedom Day for all Liberians. Thank you, and God bless.